Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sasquatch Watch Radio with your host, Billy Willard, and the Blog Squatter. Strap in, hold on tight, get ready, because it is about to go down.
All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Today is August 17th, 2009. I am your host, Billy Willard, and welcome my co-host, the great, wonderful DB Donlin. How you doing tonight, DB?
I'm doing just fine, Billy. How about yourself?
I'm doing just fine, other than the chiggers that I have on me head to toe.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very
So
pleasant.
if y'all hear a bunch of noise like my chair squeaking, it's me bending over to itch my ankles and, So.
Oh, my.
It's bad.
How much fun is that? None at all.
Not any, okay?
Right.
None at all. So anyway, welcome everybody to the show. DB, as usual, we'll ask you if you have any news for today.
You know, I don't have any news items of interest today, I'm sorry to report.
Okay. That's okay.
How about you?
So, I don't have any news.
No.
Well, I guess I have a little tidbit of news. Had a fella by the name of Joe, and he's going to have to excuse me because I can't think of his last name right off the top of my head. He is a sports writer, and he visited me Sunday, and we kind of spent about 5 hours together. I took him out to some sites, and he's writing a book a little bit differently than what other people have done. Instead of writing a book about Bigfoot, he's writing a book about the people who research Bigfoot.
Right.
So he spent about 5 hours with me. Very nice fella. I really enjoyed spending time with him. Definitely has an interest in the subject, and we had a great time. So I'm sure Joe's going to be listening either live or to the archives. I just wanted to say, Joe, thanks a lot. I really loved spending the time with you Sunday. I had a really, really good time, and hope you did as well. So with that out of the way, we want to introduce. Now we're going to have another person join us here shortly, but of course our main feature tonight is the one, the only Bobbie Short of BigfootEncounters.com. How you doing tonight, Bobbie?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Billy.
Good. It's great to have you on the show. Thanks for agreeing to be on the show. I just wanted to share with folks a little bit about you, kind of your bio. As everyone knows, Bobbie has one of the best collections of Bigfoot encounters and sightings available online. She sat on the famous NASI board with Jeff Glickman, Henry Franzoni, Todd Deary, Deborah Woolman, Lauren Coleman, and the late Mike Dennett in 1998, and then, of course, also with Dave Ramsberg. She edits a free Bigfoot newsletter that is distributed worldwide in foreign countries, the U.S. and Canada, to 2,300 subscribers. BigfootEncounters.com is the oldest Bigfoot website on the Internet. Very impressive, and Bobbie, I have to say, it's definitely one of the best websites. I go to your website first when I'm looking for a story that I remember because I know I'm going to find it.
Oh, my goodness, thank you.
I mean, it's just, if I'm
do all
not
that?
mistaken, what's that?
I said, did I do all that?
You did all that.
I did all
You
that.
should be proud.
I know, but, I've forgotten half of what's up on the website. I don't remember anymore after, 14 years?
I tell you what, you have such a collection on there. I would be surprised if you could remember everything that's up there. That's a lot of information.
It all runs together after a while.
I know. And the funny thing is, with all the information you have on that site, and for the very extremely short time that I've been doing this, being, since 2005,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember some of the things I did a few months ago.
Oh, that makes me feel better.
So I can, that's pretty sad. So, but anyway, yeah, we're glad to have you on the show.
You caught me in a weak moment because I don't do these.
I caught you in a weak moment.
I don't. What am I doing here?
All I did was twist your arm a little bit.
I know.
Well, we're glad to have you, and I know everybody's glad to have you here too, because a lot of folks like to hear from. Someone with the work you've done on that website. You've just got a vast of information on that site. So.
Well, you're very.
And it's always good. It's always good to hear, everyone's theories. Because everybody has a theory. And let's face it, that's what we have, because none of us know what we're dealing with, really.
Bobbie Short's not short on opinions.
Well, that's why we have you here.
Ah, okay.
We would hear them.
Okay.
I've already had some emails, as a matter of fact, of folks that already have some things on their mind. But
okay, what you got?
Well, I'm going to take this first one that I got from a fellow that's in the chat who goes by Jim Footicus.
Oh, Jim Foot.
I can tell you know who that is.
I do know who that is.
Well, do you know what his question is?
No, I don't have a clue.
Okay. All right. His question is what he wanted us to do was ask you about the Patterson-Gimlin film.
What about
He wants to know what your opinion is of the Patterson-Gimlin film.
Oh, my opinion of the Patterson-Gimlin film. Okay. What I can say about that is that the subject in the Patterson film, I think, is typically what I've come to believe is a real Sasquatch.
Okay.
I think that, excuse me, frog in my throat. I think that part is true. And does he want to know about the rest of it?
He probably does.
Yeah, I imagine Jim does. There are highly qualified people working on the film, and it would be better for them to talk about it than me. My background isn't such that I'm really qualified to talk about what's going on with the film, but I feel comfortable, telling you what I think Patty is. I think she's the real deal.
Yep.
In a lot of ways, she looks like what I've seen, and
yep.
So I'm convinced that it's not Bob Hieronymus, and
right.
And I think that's one of the issues that Jim Foot is fighting with. He doesn't know what to believe.
Right. Now, when you mentioned, Bobbie, that that you believe the subject in the film is Sasquatch, and it's because what you've seen. Have you had your own personal sighting?
I have.
You have? Can you tell us about that at all?
Sure.
Okay.
I can tell you a little bit.
All right.
That's what started this chaos for me. Really, it is.
It gets the best of us.
Yeah. In 1985, I was a much younger nurse and dedicated, and had always been a backpacker since the age of 6, and we were up in Northern California and had packed in 3 days. Had just crossed over the Smith River, and that morning I got up and stoked the fire a little bit and put the coffee on and needed to empty my bladder. So I went off into the bushes, and there was this small plateau of hip-deep ferns. Beautiful place, just gorgeous. The sun was coming from my back through columns of trees, and the air was crisp. It was just a beautiful morning, and I was, enjoying the walk as much as relieving myself. And I stood up out of the ferns to adjust my Levi's, and I saw movement in my right peripheral vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked, and I saw this image coming.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure, and I finished with my britches and looked again, and really, I had never heard the word Bigfoot, so you have to understand that I realized right quick that we were 3 days in, and we hadn't seen anybody in 2 days, really.
Mm-hmm.
It was deep in the bush, and
right.
to see this woman coming at me with a prolific growth of hair, buck naked, it's hard to wrap your mind around that.
Right, so it was definitely female then. You noticed that right off the bat.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
She was female.
Yep.
And
now,
she
seem to me, did she seem aggressive, or was she just kind of interested in you and what you may have been doing?
She wasn't the least bit interested in me. In hindsight, she was on a journey somewhere. She never broke stride. She came from my right, passed within, say, 10, 12. I'm not good with feet. 10, 12, maybe a little bit more from me. She was close enough that I could see her eyelashes.
Right.
And she passed off to my right in an uphill walk. She wasn't extraordinarily large in height, but she was bulky. She had these enormous shoulders. Her torso was barreled. She had no waist. She did not have perky breasts. They were hanging empty, nipples up, and they moved with every step she took. These were enormous strides, by the way. She was going somewhere, where I don't know, but
right.
there she was. And you end up asking yourself all kinds of things. At first I thought it was a joke that my backpackers were playing on me, and which we were prone to do in those days.
Right.
But nothing I saw made sense. I will say this, that nothing I saw brought to mind the word ape. Nothing.
Right.
Not even her prolific growth of hair. There was, and it was hair, but it grew about her body in places that is more like the hair on a man's chest.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't fur like a bear. It wasn't fur like a chimpanzee. It was hair, and there were even worn spots between her arms and the torso, where her arms would rub against her body. Clearly worn away hair.
Wow, you got a good look at this.
I did. The sighting itself was rather unremarkable,
Right.
but I'm trained to pay attention to people and decipher their needs. That's what I do.
Right.
So the memory of what I saw is still vivid, but the reasons for it, I wrestled with for a long time. The first person that ever took me aside and listened was Henry Franzoni. I owe him a great deal. He was one of the first people to actually sit down and listen to me and help, decipher what I had seen, because I didn't know about Bigfoot. That was something that came later.
Right. That's interesting. And I see that DB has a ton of questions scrolling through the chat room, so I'll let him get to those.
Okay.
Well, I've seen a pair from Kite Squatch. Now, I might have missed some because I was looking over here and writing stuff down. Kite Squatch wanted to know if the Bigfoot that you saw looked like it was young or old, or could you tell?
Sure, I could. She was old. If she wasn't old, she was not well, and that was something I wrestled with. I was so intent on her face and other features that that got by me. But from her general appearance, she was old, and she was scarred. She had an oval scar on her left shoulder. You might think maybe she'd been lanced with something. There was no hair on it. It was just a huge scar on her left shoulder, right under the clavicle.
Wow.
And what was the rest of that question?
Well, that was the first question. That was all of that one. And then the other one was, do you think that it saw you at the time that you were seeing it?
Absolutely, she saw me.
Yeah. How did she react when she saw you?
She didn't turn her head. She didn't break stride. She looked at me with her eyes and kept on going.
Cool.
Really, I was non sequitur. She just wasn't interested in me. If she was, evidently I posed no threat to her. Actually, she could have taken care of me.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure she could.
Yeah, she could have. But she didn't, and she kept, on wherever she was going, I wasn't going to get in her path. That was the feeling that I had.
Right. All right. Was there any more in there that I missed?
I haven't seen any more other than those two, but I'd like to say the amount of detail that you just told us, that's remarkable detail. Most people don't get that kind of, even if they're close enough, they're so overwhelmed by what they're seeing that they miss a lot of details. But you've got some good detail there.
I wonder that comes with my training, D.B. Not many people have the years in nursing that I have, and really I work with terminally ill patients, and a lot of the time they can't tell me what's wrong. I need to be able to decipher what's wrong with them and be able to accurately tell the physician what I see and why in order to keep that patient alive. So I pick up on detail really quick, usually.
Right.
There are times when I'm flustered and red in the face that I don't. But this time, I had no reason to be afraid. I didn't know what she was.
Right.
She posed no threat to me, and I didn't see any reason to be afraid of her. I was actually a more compassionate mind. I thought, this poor woman, what's with her?
Right.
It didn't make any sense to me that she'd be out there by herself, and she was. Well, if there were others, I have to admit I wouldn't have known. There could have been others, but I didn't see them.
Right. There's those questions, DB.
There's a couple more. Irish guy had asked, and I as soon as I saw it, it went right out the other eye. I don't know why that happened, but he had asked, did you think, and I think you might have mentioned this at the beginning, whether you thought it was ape-like or human-like. Didn't you say it was no ape?
Yeah, at no time ever did ape enter my mind. She was so human that I thought, this poor woman, what is she doing out here? She was built weird, and really, DB, she was ugly. You have to really go some to make sure she's female. She was so masculine.
Wow.
Not a pretty lady at all. But there was nothing, that's what I don't understand about some of the witnesses that I've interviewed. I don't know where they get the ape impressions. Where does that come from? Because I don't have that at all. There's nothing ape-like about them.
Right.
Not in the face. The face is very human and round. What is surprising is that for a female, she had facial hair.
I wish I could answer.
Yeah.
I've never had a sighting. I'm still waiting for the day that I hopefully have one.
I think some people are answering out of a sense of the overall, picture. They're not focusing on the face or the fact that it's walking upright. They're looking at all that hair and they're saying, what do I know that looks manlike and has all that hair, and they go with ape. That would be, and unless they see some that have a nose that looks more like an ape, that might be something that would push them that way. I mean, you sometimes see those illustrations where they've gone out of their way to make the Bigfoot have that ape-like nose, but I only remember one person ever saying in an account that I've read that it had an ape-like nose. All the other ones, if they mention a nose at all, say, well, the nose looked human-like, or, human-like but flat.
It wasn't a flat nose. It was a button nose. And actually, of all the characteristics about her face that were human were her eyes and her nose. It was hard to tell much about her mouth because of the hair.
Yeah, the beard.
Well, whiskers.
Bearded lady.
Yeah. What is striking also that I don't get from a lot of other witnesses is the amount of hair on the head. Not bodily hair, but hair growing from the head. Right. Hers was arranged.
Really?
Yeah. In a lot of pictures we see, for example, I'm looking at Dave Politis's Tribal Bigfoot, and if anyone in chat has his book on page 336, is close resemblance to what I saw. Except I could see more of the forehead blowing as she walked. It parted. The hair came forward from the center part of the head down over her forehead like bangs. I hate to say that because people get all pushed out of shape,
right.
thinking they can't cut their hair. But Indians cut their hair for years,
Yeah.
So I know they can.
Right.
Her face was surrounded by hair. So it was really hard to see much except when the wind blew her forehead hair apart. She looked an awful lot like the one that's depicted on page 36 of Politis's Tribal Bigfoot that Harvey did. He did a magnificent job. There was also another one that he did. Let me see if I marked that page. Yeah. Have you got the book there?
I don't have that book here in front of me, no.
Okay, well, the breasts are similar to page 306, the female in the upper left.
Okay. I'm sure there's some folks that have the book and they can open it up and look at that page 306.
If you haven't read that book, it's What was that?
My other phone's ringing.
Oh.
Somebody got it.
I have a couple more questions here. They're starting to chastise me in chat because they think I'm ignoring them. TCP10, I think I might have written this down wrong. TCD or Ted P10, I think is what it is. Ted P10 asked, did you see what the skin color was?
Yes, she was Caucasian.
Caucasian.
Absolutely.
That's interesting. And Kite Squatch wanted to know whether you were able to notice whether the nipples were hair covered or not.
They were not.
Not.
No. There may have been hair up closer to the chest, but these hung so far down. Let me think about that a minute. The alveoli are right above that area was not. It was closer to the chest.
Got it. Bill Green has his standard question. It looks like he's asking it of Bobbie here. Any new Sasquatch activity or in your investigation area?
Yes.
Yes, great.
Yes. I don't have all the details yet, but I'm corresponding with a gentleman who said that on Saturday, July 26th, he was traveling westbound on 299 up in Northern California towards the coast, and a male Sasquatch stepped out on the highway. And he has a vivid description, which I'm getting ready to leave town, so I need to really hand this off to somebody up in that area. He got a really good look at this. I hate using the word creature.
Right.
They're people. They really are people. You know, I want to bring this up too. Going back to when America was being tamed. You know, the Europeans came over here, and the Indian people were regarded as savages and, you know, treated very badly and wholesale slaughtered in a lot of places and treated as less than human. And what I see is this scenario starting up again with people calling the Sasquatch people creatures and animals. They're not. They're human-looking individuals. They are a human life form of some kind. What exactly or how exactly they will be classified, you know, that's not my expertise. I don't know. I do know what some of the preliminary DNA is showing, that they're human. So, you know, I'm really comfortable in what I'm telling people, that these aren't apes. Am I talking too much?
No.
You're fine. You are fine.
Get me started and I don't shut
up. See, Bobbie, you were worried, so you're doing fine.
Okay.
Well, I don't know about Billy, but I happen to agree with you on the they're people, not apes issue. Although I've called them creatures before, but I also will call people creatures under certain circumstances. So it's not necessarily a pejorative to the Bigfoot when I do that. But you know, now maybe I'll knock that off. But we do need another word. Maybe we should just call them Sasquatch or something. Agree on what we're going to call them and call them that.
That's what I call them, is the Sasquatch or Sasquatch people.
Right.
They're entitled to some kind of dignity.
Right.
In my world, anyway.
Yeah. I just got an email from Roger Knights. I'm sure everybody knows Roger.
I do know Roger. Hello, Roger.
Yep. He just sent me an email and told me to mention to you, Bobbie, said that Ostman also said the two females he saw had bangs on their forehead.
Really?
That's what. Yep.
I don't think I heard that from Roger before.
Yep. He just wrote it to me in an email.
That's interesting. Thank you, Roger. That makes me feel good.
And then I had, and I know DB's got a bunch of other questions, but let me grab this one because if I don't get it, I'm going to forget it. Andy had sent me an email earlier and wanted me to just ask you this question, Bobbie. He says, it's kind of funny the way he brings out his question here. He says, when these creatures, and of course we can call them people, are proved to science with undisputable concrete locked in stone, in their face, in their lap, undeniable pink flamingo in their lawn, proof. How long do you think it will take for this to sink in and to be cataloged into the science book as fact?
The way things are going, a long time.
Yeah, I have to agree.
It may even be, you know, long after I'm gone.
Yeah.
The next generation. That's why I do my best to encourage this next generation to focus on something more important than wood tapping, log wrapping. I mean, where are you going with this stuff, guys? Come on.
Right.
And some of the other stuff, tree twists, and you know, it's interesting, but where are you going with this stuff?
Right.
Let's get on with, you know, it's like, you know, the Europeans talking about the bows and arrows. Let's talk about the individuals. Let's find out what they're all about. You know, I could care less about sound blasting and vocalizations and whether it's coyote or not. Let's get down to the nitty gritty here. We're going nowhere.
Right.
And the time that is wasted on well, for example, sound blasting. That made me laugh. How do you know what you're saying if you're saying anything? The greatest drawback is that you're announcing that you're there, and for people to who want to stay away from you, that's the biggest don't come around I can think of.
Right.
You know, whether anything productive came out of sound blasting, I don't know. But I see this happening again with the wood wrapping and so forth that people get sidetracked with. It really is unimportant. And I am beyond, any more issues with the foot tracks. Enough of that. Let's get on to the issues of the hair, and work a little harder on getting some photographs, setting out some kind of. I'm talking too much.
No, you're not. You're doing fine. This is what we like. This is the type of information that we like.
This is what you're here for.
That's
Okay.
right. Doing a fine job. And poor DB's got like this scroll list of questions. So I'm going to ask DB.
No,
DB,
there's a couple,
want
but
me
you can get that phone first if you want. I see phone calls are coming in. I don't know which ones are calls and which ones are listeners.
Yeah, we've got a couple of them here.
Yeah, there's two with hands up there, so.
Okay.
So let me grab this one first. I think this one's probably Henry May at 662. You're on the air.
That would be me. What's going on, guys?
Oh, pretty good.
Oh, good. Hello, Bobbie.
Hello, Henry.
Wanted to ask you, Bobbie, about the photographs you had on your website of the footprints from I think it was last winter.
Uh-huh.
I think the ones from California. Has there been any follow-up done on that?
Those were in snow, is that right? Is that the ones you're talking
Yes,
about?
that's correct.
Yeah, not much you can do with those. They melt. But I think that, let's see, is that Jim Carl's footprints you're talking about, or?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, there was another set of snow prints that Duncan Jensen and Sean Fries also have uploaded.
Uh-huh.
Let me think. There may have been. I think the other ones were British Columbia.
The ones from Randy Brisson, right?
Brisson, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are baby tracks. But I think that Jim Carl had baby tracks too, up on Indian Creek Road in February.
Yeah.
You wanted to know the size?
I wanted to know the size. I also wanted to know if there was there had been any follow-up. Had there been any sightings? Had there been any follow-up footprint discoveries?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. But as far as how many cases of baby footprints have you seen and perhaps personally investigated?
Henry, in 24 years, the first baby tracks I saw were sent to me by Henner Fehrenbach, and I think that was 1997. Mm-hmm. And I saw nothing since. And then, let's see, the first baby tracks I think I saw were Jim Carl's, and those were 2005. And there's been a slew of them since. I even have a beautiful footprint from Ohio, which I think I sent to Dawn. I'm Keating, I'm not sure. That was the most pristine track that I had a picture of. That was a 5-inch track, baby track. Beautiful toes, delineation, everything, just gorgeous. The tracks that Randy had that were babies were splayed tracks. Really weird. But Mama also had splayed toes, so that was interesting.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I always find it interesting, the reports of the splayed toes, because that would indicate movement rather than, somebody just putting together a hoaxed footprint, which would have all the toes together. Because it's although of course now people can obviously probably, yeah, Billy, you're right, I do have a cold. But obviously, people could probably, if they study this splayed-toed footprints, they could probably hoax something like that.
No, not the splayed toes.
Oh, okay.
No. There's a set pattern for splayed toes, and these were absolutely on the mark. Very believable.
Okay.
What's
All right,
interesting about those baby tracks is that They didn't have the pressure ridge. They were flat as a pancake.
Wow. Okay, well, that's all the questions I wanted to ask. Thank you very much, Bobbie.
You're welcome. Anytime, Henry. Thank you for all your help. I appreciate
no
the help
problem. No problem.
that I've gotten from you over time.
Yeah, sure.
Appreciate it.
Always glad to be of assistance.
Okay, thank you.
Great show tonight, guys. See y'all later.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, let me see who we have here. We'll grab this caller here real quick. We have a caller from the 352 area code. You're on the air.
Yeah, good evening. This is Ted B10.
Hey, Ted, how are you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, good. Listen, Bobbie, you have a hesitation of calling him a creature, and I agree with you.
Thank you.
They're more humanoid than anything else.
Yes,
but if they are humanoid, then they might possibly have a culture of themselves, since they are free-thinking animals. So it would seem possible that they would have their own means of communication, wood knocking, whatever. Each sound or inflection could mean something in their own language. And who knows, they probably might even understand what we're talking about when they're observing us. What do you think?
I think they have their own language. I can't imagine a population, no matter how small, being able to exist without some means of communication. I absolutely do believe that they have their own language, an uneducated language, perhaps. I'm just not too sure. There are other people better qualified to talk about language than me.
Well, maybe an uneducated language to us, but not to them.
Exactly.
They've been doing this for thousands of years.
Yes, exactly. They get along just fine.
Okay, well, I just want to throw my 2 cents in there. Thank you, people.
All right, thank you, Ted.
Yeah, take care now.
Ted.
All right, DB, I'll let you get to that list. Poor guy.
Well, maybe an uneducated language to us.
Poor guy.
Let's see. I have a couple here. One from Tukra, and Tukra was asking about. It's spelled TSI, and in reference to the South American version of the Sasquatch. I mean, would you say tsetse? That kind of reminds me of the tsetse fly from Africa, but Tukra's talking about the South American Bigfoot. Do you have anything about that?
Is he talking about the Sisimidi? Is that?
It could be. I mean, this is the first I've seen the word tsetse referring to Sasquatch, but I don't know what they call it down there.
Spelled?
TSI-TSI.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, but there is a version down there in South America, isn't there?
I've heard there is. I haven't, given it much thought.
Yeah, so you don't know anything specific about it?
No, I sure don't.
Okay. Well, Slam630 wants to know if you've had any other encounters with Bigfoot since that one you told us about.
I have.
Yes, well, let's get to those.
It is also rather unremarkable, except that one was a male, and I had never seen a male before, and he was a beaut. The female, this was in Arizona, for those who keep record, in the Arizona mountains above Prescott. I've been following a rancher with acreage there, and we went up there at one point on horseback, and we're coming back along a canyon ridge, and this rancher and his 4 sons were in front of me, actually 2 sons in front of me and 2 horses behind me, and the fellow in front of me said 3 o'clock right quick, and I looked across the canyon, and maybe 50 yards, maybe 75 yards. I'm not good with this, but anyway, they were close enough that I recognized right away what I was looking at. They were standing side by side when I first caught sight of them. She ducked into the tree line real quick, and she was very pregnant, full term. He stayed out in the open and twiddled his fingers, his we kept on going. He just stood there, great big, huge fellow. There's something to reckon with if you want to be afraid.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to make him mad, right?
I don't think I want to make him mad. I don't think I want to mess with his lady friend either.
Now, was he actually twiddling his thumbs, or were you just saying that?
No, he was nervously messing with his fingers. You know, it was hard for me to see exactly what was going on with the hands. I just know that his fingers were moving, and whatever he was doing, it looked like something nervously going on with his fingers. Maybe the fact that we were there. You know, I don't know. It's hard to say.
That's pretty interesting. Okay. I do have another one.
You know, that case is interesting insofar as they were tall, but they weren't as well built as the ones in Northern California, or that's my impression.
Right.
These didn't look as well fed, and that might be why there's problems on that acreage, because they learned about the problem and what they were dealing with because of raids on the chicken coop. And also some of his stock was missing from time to time. They run sheep in there and goats and all kinds of things. And that's how they got in contact with me, was this chicken coop thing that his wife was upset over. Native American woman, beautiful woman. She kind of knew what was going on, but she didn't tell them. She was very close-mouthed about the whole thing. But anyway, that was interesting, and that's the only other time that I've seen them. And I would have missed that had the horses not reacted a little bit and had the fellow in front of me hollered 3 o'clock. I would have ridden right past. They blend so well in with the landscape that, you know, you really have to be vigilant.
Right. Hey, DB, I'm gonna get this call because I think I know who it is.
Okay.
It's a Skype caller, but I don't think it's a prank. I think I know who it is. Skype caller, you're on the line. Go ahead. I don't hear anything. How about you now, Skype caller?
Can you hear me now?
I sure can.
Did I win the concert tickets? Is that a fifth caller?
That's Ron.
How you guys doing tonight?
Hi, Ronnie.
Hi, Bobbie. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Sounding good. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Ron. Listen, Ron, thank you for all you do. You've been a great source of help.
I try.
With a lot of my research, you've just been terrific over the years. Listen, Billy, Ron's been around longer than I have. This guy you need to have on your show sometime.
I know Ron's been around.
Okay.
Been around the block. I don't know how to take that. Bobbie, what do you make of this I'm seeing here lately about Bigfoot running on all four legs? I mean, the only thing I can recall is back in 1978 in the Minerva, Ohio case, where the witnesses all said they saw what looked like cougars in this mine pit with the big Sasquatch, and they thought, the lady reporter I had talked to thought maybe that they might have been baby Bigfoots. Well, if that's the case, yeah, I can maybe understand maybe crawling like a baby does or something like this, but this recent trend that I've seen over the past year of people saying about Bigfoot getting down and running all fours just makes absolutely no sense to me at all.
Well, it makes no sense to me either, Ron.
Excuse me, I got a bit of a cold, too.
Mainly because it's not physically possible. There are stories where the witness insists that the arms are as long as the legs, therefore they can run on all fours. I'm not sure what I think about that.
Maybe it's the ape theorists
trying
to support their
Well, you have to understand that a hominid, you know, the knees are going to bend forward underneath the body. And so the butt's going to be up in the air. That's a giveaway if they're trying to hide. Why run up? They can't run on all fours. Try it sometime. You can crab crawl to the right, but you can't really move forward in such a motion as to run. The word run is what bothers me. You can't run on all fours.
Should I actually admit that I've tried it and I can't do it either?
No.
Well, hey, at least you're experimenting, Billy. That's the key thing there. I mean,
I just hope nobody got me on video.
I've been hearing this on the chats here for about past year, I guess, and I'm just flabbergasted that somebody wouldn't bring up this attention. Now, granted, somebody may be telling the truth and saying they've seen something like this, but maybe they're misinterpreting a bear or something.
You know something, Ron? We talked about this on your discussion list at one time. I think that there must be something else people are seeing that they're identifying as a Sasquatch, but it isn't. Because we hear these reports about dog-faced Sasquatches, and that just doesn't fly with me. And we hear about, the salivating fangs and that they get down on all fours and run like a dog. I think maybe, in fairness to the people who are making these reports, I think maybe we need to consider that maybe cryptozoology has something, especially in the southern states, that I know nothing about. But it's not the Sasquatch people.
Well, I think a lot of it's a matter of witness interpretation, too. I mean, we really don't pay attention enough to what the witness is stating. Everybody wants to presume it's Bigfoot, and maybe, you're right, it may be some other kind of cryptozoological mystery that we need to look into.
Yeah, that's your thing, the dog.
Because we've seen it with the lizard man case, for instance, and everybody went out and tried to disclaim what the witness actually stated, what his description was, and tried to say, well, this guy was actually seeing a Bigfoot creature, when there was, from his descriptions, there was no evidence at all that it was any kind of a Bigfoot type thing.
I don't think so.
And we do have problems with certain researchers who want to, want their cases to fit into their particular belief system or their pet theory and stuff like this.
Well, the werewolf thing. I forget the other name. It comes out of Louisiana. Loup-garou. The loup-garou and the werewolf thing up in Wisconsin, that's been around for a long time.
Oh, yeah, there's been werewolf reports for years.
Sure, and we pay no attention to it. But, there's this growing trend with dogman reports, and I've ignored it, heretofore. But I think maybe this, in fairness to the witnesses who keep telling me about these sightings, especially the ones with red eyes, Ron. Remember the red glowing projection?
Yeah, that's been going around since Lauren Coleman, Jerome Clark, Mysterious Monsters, and late John Keel, who incidentally passed away not too long ago. He was really into that. Brad Steiger, B.N. Slate. Those authors were writing about that back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's nothing new. But the running all fours is something new that kind of disturbs me because, I agree with you. We're talking about a human, some kind of human here, and it's just physically impossible to do something like that.
Absolutely.
Ask Billy, he tried.
Well, babies do it to a certain degree. A baby, in the crawling stages of their life, will get up on all fours and try to move forward. And really what they're doing is moving forward, but more like a crab walk to the side. Maybe that's not a very good description, but they can't run that way. The knees have to bend, and it's going to bend underneath the torso. So, you just can't make good time that way.
It's just not economically possible to do something like that.
Exactly.
No,
the only other thing I can think of, Ron, is something in the dogman category, and it would also cover some of the highly aggressive reports that come from, for example, I did a quick survey of the database, and I find a lot of them come out of Louisiana. What was the other one? the Carolinas. There's a lot of red-eye projection out of Florida. I've been going back over Ramona's stuff. I don't know if I sent that to you yet.
No, you haven't. Poor old Ramona, I used to correspond with her. She had a funny story where somebody in Ohio actually sent her alleged Bigfoot feces in the mail. She didn't care for that too much.
No, I don't think so.
I wouldn't either. But yeah, I've got some cases in my database on things like that too. You know, Bigfoot's not my only thing. I'm kind of into cryptozoology. Mainly anymore, I try to come up with anything I can for a reasonable explanation before I list it as an unknown. But there's a lot of others. I mean, if you read the old Keel books and you read some of the older books about that, you'll come across a lot of that. I like what John Keel used to say. You know, I never really bought into a lot he said, but he used to say there isn't a swamp in the South that hasn't had some kind of monster reported, and it's true. It really is.
That is true.
I mean, it's the names may be different because of localism, but basically a lot of it's the same. But you get a lot of lizard man reports. You got a whole database on them from Ohio and down into Kentucky and down southwards. And
I got a bang out of Lauren Coleman on Monster Quest not long ago, and he said the lizard man was nothing but a Bigfoot covered in green slime. Green algae. Is that a hoot or what?
Well, you know, I've got composite drawings of that case. I didn't go down there, but Mark Hall was sending me clippings like crazy out of there. And I just don't understand why some of the researchers insisted that it was Bigfoot, because that's completely not what the witness reported.
No, right. That's what I understand.
So, you know, a lot of it's a matter of witness interpretation, and we're not listening to what the witness says to us.
I think sometimes we're just guilty of wanting to hear only the Sasquatch-related information, and we just kind of, you know, push the rest of the information someplace else. Okay. Well,
I'll let you guys go. So there's other callers and questions, and you might want to get into your that article you did, Bobbie, on the hair issue. Excellent article that was in your piece. I just wonder why you don't write more.
Oh, thank you. Listen, thank you for all your help. I really appreciate all the help you've given me over the years.
Likewise from you.
Thanks,
so you guys all take care, and we'll talk at you later. Whoa.
Thanks, Ron.
You're welcome, Billy. Take care.
All right. Let me grab this other caller. It's been patiently hanging on here. Caller from the 740 area code. I think you're on the air.
Well, I hope so. The first time I called in, I got cut off. I don't know if that was a hint or what.
I think everybody knows who that voice is.
I hope not. Gee, when it's Christmas, his voice is terrible. I don't have a cold. Hi, Bobbie. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. We're getting a little bit of a thunder shower back here, but we're doing fine, just suffering under the heat. So, what's new? I mean, you've been putting out newsletters for quite some time now. I guess that's what I called you about. How long have you been putting newsletters out free of charge?
Since 2001. And it came about during a brainstorm session with Roger Thomas. Maybe some of you remember Roger's Bigfoot Fact or Fantasy website that he used to have up. Not sure if it's still up or not.
Actually, it is. It wasn't long ago since I looked at it.
Anyway, he was. We were talking long distance one night, and I said, you know, we need to do something. We need to categorize the information that's starting to, you know, develop over the internet, because in 2001 it was just beginning to trickle in, and the suggestion of a newsletter came up, and we hashed that out, and that's how it began. It was really funny because the first, you know, I told Roger, I said, we'll never get more than 25 or 30 readers, and when the 100 mark came, I thought, my word, maybe there's bigger interest in this than I know.
Right.
You know, it's grown since then, Don.
Pardon me?
It's grown since then.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you've got how many subscribers? Over 2,000, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you got 100, you were congratulated. So congratulations times 20.
Thank you.
But I mean, I guess I should ask a question other than that, since I'm on the phone and people hate to hear me call into these shows every now and then. But what would you say is the most, I suppose the word would be convincing, sighting report that you've heard of in the state of California or the Pacific Northwest that you've been involved with? And what I mean by involved with is that you've received the report first-handed, or you investigated it with someone who did receive it first-handed.
Oh, what was? I didn't hear the first part of that. What kind of report are you asking about?
I guess the question would be which report, if you have one in mind, which report would be the one that convinces you the most that someone actually did see a Bigfoot, that the report that you either received first-handed or that you helped someone investigate who received it first-handed?
Okay, you mean other than my own?
Yeah.
Gosh, there's been a lot of them. Oh, there's been a lot of them. Probably the most exciting one was out of Oregon, not California, so I'd have to think about that. Nothing comes to mind, Don. The only other, let's see. No, I'm drawing a blank. There's just been too many of them.
You've had a lot.
I was already convinced,
Yeah, right.
5 or 6 years into this, I've finally figured out what I saw, and it's just been a matter of putting things together in a constructive manner in my own mind, about what we're dealing with here.
Yeah. Well, it's been a good while for you that you've been into it, and we hope that you're into it for a lot longer time period, and hopefully one of these days the answer will be discovered while you and I and everybody else is still around, and just
I haven't
continue
been in it as long as you have, Don, and really I need to thank you for all that you've done to contribute to my work. You've been a great help, and I thank you very much. I looked up to you for a lot of my first years, believe me.
Oh, I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why now either, now that I know you.
Yeah, I know. That's what a lot of the people, that's what a lot of the people say. They see me on Monster Quest, they walk up to me, hi, you're so-and-so, nice to meet you, blah, blah, and they want to shake my hand, and 6 months later they want to smack me up alongside the head. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but anyway.
You're a good guy, Don. Don't let anybody fool you. You're a good guy.
Only when I'm asleep. And sometimes not even then.
Is that what Missy says?
Yeah, every day and then some. Yes, I'm reminded of it often, believe me. So.
That's what wives are for.
Yeah, I know. She does a fine job of it too. Billy's just eating this up in the background. I can hear him.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
By the way, Billy, you don't. Since I got you on the phone, you don't have to elaborate or anything. But how did your visit with your visitor go yesterday?
Oh, it was great. I enjoyed hanging out with him. He's a very friendly fella and very interested in everything that's going on. I think he's going to have a good book. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. I met with him up here at Salt Fork today at the handicap picnic area. We were out there for about 2.5 hours talking, and we talked about his background and what he's planning on doing with the project, and who he's saying that he's very, very confident that he'll get it published and everything. And
yeah.
I'm willing to give him as much publicity as I possibly can, and once it's available, I'd like to get him out here and have him speak at a meeting or the conference and help him get as many of those circulated as possible. So anyway, thanks for taking my call. Bobbie, take care of yourself. Continued success. Keep in touch, and y'all be good.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don.
You're welcome. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
DB, I think we have you back on. We lost you there for a minute.
Yep, my Skype connection is giving me some troubles again.
We don't even have a storm.
I'm back. We don't
I
have
got
a
another caller hanging in here. I guess we better grab them now. Now, I promised Bobbie that we would have a break tonight because she had a special request for our break.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And, see, I shouldn't have said anything. No.
See how I am? I'm sorry.
But we will get to that break. But I figure we better grab this caller because I don't want to leave anybody hanging. So let me grab area code. I tell you what, this switchboard just isn't working very well tonight. Area code 386. You're on the air.
Hey, Bobbie, it's Donna.
Hi, Donna.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, gal?
I'm doing just fine. I don't have any questions. I just wanted to call in and say hi.
Oh, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, great show, by the way, so far. You're doing fantastic. I love hearing all the stuff you're talking about.
Good, good.
Which a lot of people don't get to listen to because you never are on shows.
I know. Don't scold me. You and Diane scold me more often.
I know. We're bad.
I know. And I'm worried.
Anyway, I just wanted to call and say hi, and I'm really hoping to meet you soon.
Okay, thank you very much, Donna.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
I'll see you on I Am.
Okay. Bye.
You make me laugh.
Good night. All right, DB, I know you've got a list of questions over there. Do you want me to go to the break first, or do you want to try to get some questions, or what would you like to do, sir? Guess what? We lost DB again. All right, well, while we're waiting on DB, I guess, Bobbie, this would be a good opportunity to do the break, right?
Sounds good to me.
All right, so we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. I've got there will be a commercial, but there will also be, following the commercial, a special request. I'm not going to give it away, but a special request by Bobbie. She had emailed me and asked me to play a song for her that from an artist that apparently you have a lot of you like her music.
Is that Diana Krall? Is that what I said?
Diana Krall, that's correct.
Love that smooth jazz.
So we'll play that right after the first commercial, so nobody go away. We'll be right back. Be back in a moment. You can hang on, right, Bobbie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll be back here in just a few minutes.
Sasquatch Watch Radio. Stay tuned. Paranormal Talk Radio, bi-monthly, Wednesday nights, 8 to 9 p.m. Central. The Gray Area. Paranormal Talk Radio divas Melissa Hovey and Monica Rollins, never afraid to tell it like it is. The Gray Area. Too hot for prime time. The Gray Area. 60 minutes of take no shit, grab you by the balls. Paranormal Talk Radio. 8 to 9 p.m. Central, every other Wednesday night on Blog Talk Radio. Paranormal Talk Radio with an attitude.
There you go, Bobbie, just for you.
Thank you.
I figured you would like that.
Thank you.
It was a great. I know that song. Now I don't know if she's the original. I'm not into that music, so I don't know enough about it. Now, is she the original singer of the song? I know the song though.
I don't think that was her. Was that Diana Krall?
Yeah, that was her. Yep,
it sounds
that was
different.
her. I pulled it right off of her one of her albums.
Did you? She sounds different on the stereo player.
Yeah, I think you sent me the live version where she was playing it live.
Yeah, in concert.
And in concert, correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't find it. I tried to find the live version.
She's a jazz piano player, which I am too, and
right.
But she plays much better than I do. That's why I like her. She is really great. I love her.
Yeah, it was a nice song. Now I'm getting ready to do something real quickly here. That's probably going to get me in trouble, but you know what? If it does, it does.
Okay.
So here we go. JC, you're live. Tell everybody your update. I'm putting you on the spot, JC. Give an update to everybody that's asking how you're doing.
I'm fine.
Come on. You feeling okay?
I'm feeling a lot better. I'm getting better every day.
That's good.
Is this JC the world's greatest Bigfooter?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't feel like it right now, though, Bobbie.
I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon, JC.
Thank you.
All right, I'll put you back on mute. But there y'all see, he's still alive. He's not going anywhere.
No, I just can't get into the chat tonight, but I'm listening.
All right, JC. Take care of yourself there.
Speedy recovery, JC.
Thanks, Bobbie.
All right. Let me. I think we've lost DB again. DB's having some troubles tonight. So what he did was he sent me some questions on a private message so that I can ask some of these questions. Bobbie, we had a question from Slam 630. He wanted some more information on that Route 299 Bigfoot story.
Say that again?
The Route 299 Bigfoot?
Highway 299 in Northern California.
Yeah.
Sits between Highway 101 and the I-5.
Right.
What was the question?
I guess he wants to know if there's any other info on that.
No, I just got it, actually.
Oh, okay.
So it's a matter of the witness is vacationing in the UK. He's there for a wedding, I think he said, and then he would get back to me after August 20th, and I leave for Cabo this Friday, so I'm not going to be here to interview him. I need to give that to somebody who can talk to him.
Well, enjoy your trip. That should be nice.
Thank you. I will.
We have another question from Irish Guy. He wanted to know, in regards to footprints, what is your opinion on the mid-tarsal break that everyone discussed?
Oh, my gosh, that's a whole nother show. Oh, I kid you not. That is another show.
Do you think that's Sasquatch?
What?
Any of the prints that show up with a mid-tarsal break?
I have to tell you that even when I walk on the beach, I have a break. I have a center. What's the word I'm looking for? I just got sidetracked. If you guys stop sending me this email, stop it. You know, when you walk on the beach, it doesn't matter whether you're flat-footed or not. You still push up a center pressure ridge. Try it sometime.
Oh, you're right.
A friend of mine is flat-footed, and while he was in Bluff Creek, he did a couple of studies in the Bluff Creek soil. As flat-footed as he is, and he pushed up a pressure ridge.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's. I think really too much has been written about this, almost like someone was trying to build a case around it. I really hesitate to say anything more because
right.
the veins.
Yeah, I understand. It's
okay.
a lot of information. It would be, we would have to have a whole nother show for it.
You really would.
I think we have DB. Nope, look at that. I lost him again. He was back and then he's gone again. Okay, I will continue myself. Regina wants to know, could the unknown DNA samples be compared so that we could see if they're related to one another?
They could, and I don't know why that isn't being done. Actually, I don't know that it isn't being done.
Right.
There may be people listening that know about that might want to call in and talk about it or not. That's
right.
There's a time and a place for everything, and whether they're ready to talk about that finding or not, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that's that is very interesting, and it's actually a good thing, for discussion. I wonder if there would be a way of comparing the DNA, because you hear of, all these hair samples that's been found that we know come back, undocumented, or they can't find a match. Blood samples, there have been a few that the same. Is there a way to take those and do a comparison to see if there's, if there's a match? And it would be interesting to know if it's been done.
I think it has been done.
Yeah.
But I'm not the lady to speak to that issue. I would rather stick with what I know and not what I hear. I kind of like to keep that in my head and tell somebody with greater knowledge than I have is ready to make that public.
Right. DB, are you back this time?
Well, if you can hear me, I am.
We hear
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sure. Great. I had to switch the computer I run the Skype thing through, so now I can't see chat until the other computer comes back up. So how many questions did you get through?
I got through all the ones you sent me.
Well, I don't have any new ones. Okay. I can't see chat.
Since you can't see chat, I will go in chat because I know that there was a bunch of questions. I'm going to go up as far as I can. Let's see. Let me look here real quick up here. If I can get it to stop jumping, I'll be good. I bet there's a trick.
You press that little double-headed arrow that you can see up on the right.
Stop scrolling?
Yes, and that'll stop that.
That did stop it. Look at that. All right, let me see, because I know Bobbie, we've got a ton of questions here. Here's one from Hiker11.
That's Randy.
Hiker11.
Hi, Randy.
Yeah. Wants to know, says, what is Bobbie's thoughts on the pics I sent her? Most think it's fake because it's too human looking.
Oh, well, he sent me, over time, a bunch of pictures. And I'm persuaded. He also sent me facial pictures of a Sasquatch that follows him and his son whenever they go on a hike. And looks just like the one I saw.
Really?
It also favors Patty tremendously. So for those who don't want to believe Randy's pictures, too bad.
Where can you see those pictures? Because I don't think I've ever seen them.
If you'll let me upload them, I'll upload them. I've shared them with some of my friends that, with his permission, and some of the the academics, and they were persuaded also, or at least I think they were. The feedback I got was, wow. So I don't think, as far as the Pacific Northwest is concerned, or the West Coast, that there's much difference in what they look like. I'm also persuaded it's that way all across the nation. But, that's a hard story to sell because there's so many descriptions. And cryptozoology has been quick to, carry the torch for this ape hypothesis, which aggravates people like me. Anyway, to answer your question, I have quite a bit of information from Randy, and the evidence that he's presented to me, I like.
Right.
And the academics also like it. What caused the great big upheaval, I don't want to get into regarding the researchers up there in his area and Randy. That's something between Randy and those people.
Right.
But I would say to them, Miller and Steenberg, too bad you guys, you know, because there's evidence here, and because you have other ideas about things doesn't mean that this isn't real. Right. So there you go.
All right. We have a question from the chat from Tukra, who says, ask Bobbie, what is the future of Sasquatch?
You know, it's grim.
Yeah.
If they don't soon have their own entitlements, I don't see much of a future because we're encroaching. I think, you know, if we accomplish anything, it's not so much that everybody has a sighting, but that everybody participates in their safety, their well-being. They don't really need our help. They just need to be left alone.
No, they obviously don't need our help.
No.
They've done quite well on their own.
Exactly. But I think that what's lacking is respect for their way of life. Just like the early American Indians, there was no respect for them. And I see that same scenario happening again with the Sasquatch people. And I just wish that, you know, stop carrying guns into the woods.
Right.
Especially, well, obviously carrying them. You know, it's just ridiculous.
Well, I mean, and in particular, carrying the gun for the sole purpose of taking one in for a specimen.
Right.
I mean, let's face it, we do have some, you know, I have more fear of some of the people that you may run across, and when I say people, I'm talking about, you know, people that live among society with us than I do of any wildlife or, you know, or one of these, you know, whatever we want to call them, people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Billy, we could tell that story about how, you know, the most dangerous position we've ever been in was when a fellow with a rifle aimed it at us because he and his buddy were doing something by a fire next to a remote location near a river. Now, we suspect they were cooking meth or whatever it is they do out there, but that's the most in danger we've ever been in. I mean, there's never been any problem from the Sasquatch bothering us.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the guy literally had us in the crosshairs of a scope.
Wow.
We looked in the binoculars, and he was looking right back with the gun. So
that's not good.
Needless to say, we scooted right on out of there. So that's what you got to worry about.
And the pot growers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Northern California has an awful lot of that.
Oh, I bet. Another question from Andy Drew. Question is, do you think there are more sightings of Sasquatch in California during fires?
There have been.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I haven't heard of any with the Santa Cruz fires that are burning currently. Right. That doesn't mean that it isn't happening. It's just that I haven't heard anything in the last week since the Santa Cruz fire started. Over time, though, I think I have on the website a number of stories from fire jumpers and other firefighters, the CDF here in California, with stories, and I believe them. These guys haven't got any reason to you know, be truthful with me.
Right.
So, you know, I'm not sure that they're all true. But when they write to me or when they call me and say, you know, my job depends on you not telling any of this, you can tell the story, but you can't give my name because I'd be out of a job. That tells me something about the individual right quick. They want to get the story out, but they don't want to lose their job in the process.
Right. And we have a question from, and I think you already touched on this, but we'll ask it again. Question from someone in the chat room by the name of Nudges. Does she think they are quadrupedal like Bear says?
No. Quadrupedal? No.
Right.
They're bipeds.
Right.
Just like you and me.
Yep. Let's see. Let me see if there was another one here. It's kind of hard to go through here and think at the same time. Because some people don't put it in all caps, which kind of helps us to pick it up. So, Bobbie, I appreciate it. We've got about 4 minutes left, and I appreciate. See, I told you the time would fly by.
It did.
And poor Diane never made it.
Oh my goodness.
We were going to have Diane Stocking on here with you, and she must still be stuck in traffic.
Oh, I'll get on her about that. We've been friends for a really long time. Diane and I have.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I do remember. I had another question actually from Roger Knight.
Okay.
I remember I got it on my email.
Okay.
First of all, he makes mention. He says, I think Paulides' books break new ground in terms of the documentation of the witnesses, affidavits, photos and descriptions of location, and some checkout of witnesses' stories with other witnesses, and some checkout of their reputation with others in the community. I think these characteristics are impressive and raise their reports above mere anecdotes, the skeptic's dismissive term. I also like the supplementary map he sells for only $6. This is what I liked most about it. What most impressed you, Bobbie?
The whole damn book. Is he talking about tribal Bigfoot, or is he talking about the Hooper
what
Project?
He's talking about. You know what? He doesn't say. He just says Dave Paulides, so I'm not sure. Could be either one.
Well, he's written 2 books, and the first one was the Hooper Project, which I've read. I'm in my 3rd read, believe it or not, and I keep going back and looking at Harvey's sketches. They're just amazing. That guy is unreal. He does capture the image, so, if you don't have this book, you're really missing out. And then Tribal came out, and I haven't been able to put that down either. And it makes me pick up the first book and go back through the first book. So it takes time to read because there's so much reference material in it. He's an incredible investigator, Dave is. He has a craft, and he does it well. Nobody does it better. And really, Harvey's impressions are just so right on that his gift is something it's God-given, because this guy has an amazing talent for capturing what his witnesses tell him. I would love for him to draw sometime.
Right. And then I think we probably got time for me to sneak in one more question. And, folks, I apologize if I didn't get to your question. I appreciate everyone really being very attentive tonight and wanting to ask Bobbie questions. I guess, see, Bobbie, you need to come on the show more often.
Okay.
They've got all these questions.
Okay.
But I think Don wants to know, do you think they may be at least quadrupedal for a very brief time, maybe like right after they're born?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. I think mamas put them on the hip just like we do. I don't think there's any difference. From the tracks that Jim Carl's been sending me, they evidently put baby down, and you see the baby tracks right alongside mama. Then you don't see them. Obviously, she's picked baby up. No, I haven't seen anything that would indicate all 4s.
Okay.
If they're
Bobbie,
crawling, they're crawling back home.
Right.
Wherever home is.
Right. We have to thank you so much for coming on the show. We've got a minute left.
I've enjoyed it.
And It flies by, I tell you.
It does.
This show really flew by. Any closing comments from you, DB?
Well, if you can hear me.
Yep.
Okay. My connection goes in and out, so I won't say much except that I really enjoyed having Bobbie on the show, and I hope we can have her again sometime.
You can.
What would we do if she said no?
We would cry.
Making a trip to Northern California.
I'm never coming on your show again, Billy.
Beg on bended knee.
Thank you so much, Bobbie. We really appreciate it. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
coming on the show.
You're very welcome, Billy. Good night.
Good night, Bobbie. All right, folks. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in tonight. We're getting ready to go off live, so just wanted to thank everyone for being on the show and tuning in. If anyone ever has any questions or comments, certainly don't be bashful to send those to us. We need to know how we're doing, and you can send that to bwillard@sasquatchwatch.net. If you have any comments. Of course, you can also go on Blog Talk. There's a section there where you can also send us a message there as well. So, don't be afraid to tell us what you like, what you don't like, because that's what we need. You guys are the ones listening, and we just need you to tell us how we're doing. And, DB, if you don't have anything else, I'm done.
Nope. Let it roll.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. Good night.
A legend silently stalks the forest around the world, leaving giant man-like footprints in its wake. Skeptics scoff while the true believers search for the answers, and those who have seen it will never forget. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, Blog Talk Radio. Billy Willard and the Blog Squatcher present Sasquatch Watch Radio. Your hosts Billy Willard and DB Donlin bring you 60 minutes of the latest news and information, newly discovered evidence, and interviews with those searching for the truth and those who have seen it. Do you believe? Want to know the truth? It's out there waiting. Monday nights, 9 p.m., Blog Talk Radio. Sasquatch Watch Radio. Sit down, hold on tight, get ready, because it is about to go down. blogtalkradio.com/Sasquatch Watch Radio.
There's more to your story. More pages, new chapters. You can feel it. And now you're ready to grow. Laurel Ridge Community College is ready for you. Your real-world experience gives you an important head start. And with training, degrees, and certificates for the careers that are most in demand, you can do more, earn more, and advance more. Turn the page and start your story. Grow with us at Laurel Ridge. Visit laurelridge.edu/pathways.
When you save on auto insurance for driving safe with USAA Safe Pilot, you'll feel like a big deal, even in a traffic jam. Save up to 30% with USAA Safe Pilot. Restrictions apply.